Paris, what were you thinking? Why does my bum feel so sore this morning? Let's get into it. Ian, how we doing, brother?
Really good, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Please just help my sanity. What the hell? Utter satanic Sodom and Gomorrah nonsense did we witness last night?
I thought there was some mushrooms in my dinner, you know.
Oh, I think someone needs to speak out about this, Ian, and I've chosen you and me, mate, because they're putting this onto our children, this filth fest. And I'm not like puritanical. I don't give a whatever anyone chooses to do behind closed doors. I don't judge. I literally don't care. What I do care about is that this is being pushed as the norm for vulnerable young children, in which they included in their satanic opening ceremony yesterday, at an age where they're too young to be able to make sense of this. And when it got to the point where two blokes locked themselves in a room in a library with another girl and started French kissing, and even the commentators on the BBC were embarrassed, and that says a lot, doesn't it? They didn't know what to say because they couldn't defend it, you know? What did you make of it all?
I mean, it's interesting because that whole section was meant to be a sort of celebration of French literature and history and culture, and within the context where you've got a lot of young people looking up and idolizing, you know, these athletes and stuff, blending all that stuff in, it's just blatantly obvious what they're up to, you know. And it's just quite shocking, isn't it? And you know, with it being France, with all that history, you'd think they could have been a bit more like subtle about it, or a bit more French about it, you know. But and I say, looking from a French perspective, because that's where I am. So very crazy.
Yeah, we should point out, friends at home, Ian is a specialist in the occult, so he gets all the hidden, subtle nuances of what we were actually watching last night. But he also lives in France, so we got the perfect guest for today's show.
Yeah, good call.
Yes, just my gosh, you know, I'm trying to get I was trying to get the bit where here it is. Like it. How can you not? Oh, hang on. I'm pushing the wrong buttons. I'm getting too excited. There we go. We've just shown our wonderful paras. Like, how can you? I'm showing a picture of the when the behold a pale horse. So the devil comes riding into town on his pale horse through the wings of Lucifer, which they tried to pass off as dove's wings, the doves of peace, underneath the pyramid structure built by, was it French Freemason Eiffel?
Yeah, but Bartolet, what was his name? Yeah, two of them were Freemasons. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, friends, we're not having a go at like Freemasons per se, because I don't think they understand what's going on in this scenario, but it's the fact that that their doctrine goes back to ancient Babylon, where all this sort of stuff was really important, and it does have symbolic meaning. And even, Ian, I'd say even if you didn't want to believe in all this nonsense, even if it's, you know, you're a quote unquote normie, living your nice life, having your bonfire on a Sunday and thinking that we're all tinfoil hats. Even if that's you, how can you not see this is completely irrelevant to an Olympics opening ceremony that's supposed to celebrate beauty and love of people coming together from around the world?
Absolutely inappropriate, isn't it? Talking of inappropriate behavior, I think that's the key image, actually, Chris. You started with a good one there, because there's two references there. We talked about this just before we came on it. There's definitely the Lucifer angle. The pale horse in the apocalypse represents the kind of it's death, but it's to do with kind of disaster events, extreme weather, pestilence, this sort of stuff. And those wings could also represent Typhon, which is a serpent winged creature in Greek mythology, who is related to the wrath of nature. So that's where we get the word typhoon from. And if you look at the desolation across America, Idaho, Iowa, this week, also China, Adapt 2030, he has some good footage on this stuff, the American chap. And so there's a sort of dual symbology there, which I think is really, really key. So, I would say this is a clear message for what's going on now.
Yeah, some had quite a lot of people recently mentioning Archaics.
Yeah,
who's a very dedicated researcher. God, the guy, he's like an encyclopedia. His history is amazing.
Got a lot of respect for Jason. A lot of respect for that man.
Just got a new slave, mate. Look, I wore the other one to death. No, sorry, stop being silly. And I watched the London ceremony. I got something sort of a bit different to Archaics. I mean, I think and I'm not, this is not like a judgment. I think the guy's absolutely wonderful, and I think his channel's incredible. I recommend anyone to go there. But I don't know if being America, he was missing the sort of nuances that was Brunel. Was that Isambard Kingdom Brunel, wasn't it? Was the guy in the hat telling everyone to build this and build that, and how, and I'm not defending the ceremony, because it was basically pre-programming for the medical narrative, wasn't it? The black figure going over the children in the hospital bed. It's like I always say to people, if you believe in a bogeyman, you're never going to understand health. You're never going to understand how you really, what are the causes of let's just say ill being. But they've got to cement that bogeyman narrative, haven't they?
And it's in Archaics, he talks about the seals, the seven seals being broken. The first one being Apollon, the archer, with a certain spiky thing, which, and this being the Typhonian connection. So
could you explain that more? Because you do see one of his followers wrote in and said to him that the archer at one of the ceremonies, that the actual one of the people doing one of these, I think it was an Olympic Open ceremony, I don't know, carrying the torch, their name was Bowman. And
right, okay, interesting.
And it all sort of tied in with this. Can you explain the Seven Seals thing?
Yeah, it's the seven seals in the Old Testament Bible, the Book of Revelation, and these are the events which will herald the apocalypse or the awakening. And each seal is connected to, it's all the symbology basically. And looking at the Greek, because I believe that the original Bible was written in Greek and then translated into Hebrew, and so you have to look at Greek mythology first. And the word toxon relates to Apollo, and it's basically the Sevid, can I say that, narrative. It's all in there. So his theory is that all these world events are actually the actual seals of the revelation breaking open. So each event is significant to the apocalypse.
It's like, I get the Greek thing, because Christ in Greek means chrism, and chrism means the anointed one. So again, we're always talking about the endocrine glands, aren't we, on this channel, producing the serotonin and the DMT. So to walk with Christ is a person that has their, that's living the lifestyle, the simple, righteous lifestyle that Moses preached or tried to support people to live, because we're going to come to that as well. The golden bulls in the ceremony, the Baal worship, the thou shalt have no other God than I. But so I get the Greek part, Ian. I'm reading here, it's what happens when the seventh seal is broken. Some people read it as God's vengeance upon those who crucified Christ. So is that how you read it, or do you read it as the end of times?
I see it as the end of times as we know them. I'm not a Christian, but I was brought up Christian, so culturally it's something very familiar with. But I think that this is an attempt by certain people to, if you look at it from a Gnostic perspective, let's say, the worshippers of the worldly god, Satan, let's call him, or Saturn, trying to crash the system, basically. And this is why we're seeing so much of people kind of waking up. So we're in this end time where the whole thing's going to kind of go bang, but out of that is going to become a sort of, I'd say, a new world, but it's going to be a better world, because basically they will have sort of failed in their plan. So I don't read Revelation as a kind of doom and gloom scenario. There's going to be a period called the tribulation where we're all going to suffer, and some heavy SHIT is going to go down, but out of that will become some sort of rebirth. So that's how I see it. But in order for them to realize their plan, their big plan, they have to go through these stages, because it's been prophesied, basically. So and as we know, everything which is considered good or pure with these guys, it gets inverted. We were talking about the Last Supper just before we came on, weren't we?
Yeah, they made the supper a transvestite bum fest, didn't they? Look, there it is. There, this is going to upset a few people.
Yeah,
mocking their. It all gets so confusing, Ian, because I get what you're saying about the seven seals, about Revelation, about end of times, Sodom and Gomorrah, which we're clearly living in now, living in our animal material self, thinking that
totally.
Thinking that constantly seeking pleasure, whether it's through porn or driving fast cars or putting stupid photos on Instagram, or should I say narcissistic photos on, that we think somehow that's going to make us happy. And it's not too much of a stretch to look at the mental health statistics, and you'll understand no one's fucking happy except a few of us who don't buy into this nonsense. All our good people out there, hopefully. But here's the thing. I still take it all as allegory. I just do. The scripture's wonderful when you interpret it. When you crack the code. Not that I'm brilliant at it, but but what I mean is, what I'm coming on to is, I think there's a certain group in society, if we can say that I think they take their Old Testament absolutely literally. I also think it's that certain group or members of it, I should say, that believe they pull all the strings on the planet. And I believe they're trying to bring to fruition the Old Testament by purposely creating these. Do you see what I'm saying?
This is the absolute essence of what an egregore is. It's black magic. It's the fundamental principle of magic is you have something in your mind, your private mind, and then you bring that to fruition in the physical world. That's all they're doing. I say all in inverted commas, but that's the fundamental principle at work here. So by creating this or recreating these images, these statements, these egregores, this energy, it has a self-fulfilling prophecy element to it. You know, that's the fundamental principle. And yeah, like you say, Chris, whether or not you take scripture as allegory or not, these people 100% believe in what they're doing. And that's again, when you learn magic, that's a fundamental principle is to have absolute belief in what you're doing. Will.
Yes, and again, this all goes back to Babylon, doesn't it? Had a wonderful chat yesterday with David Schofield, absolutely lovely guy, and we were talking about the magic that came out of Babylon, the Babylonian woe, how they literally magic the money system. They magic money that doesn't exist, and then we pay them, we pay them interest. The European banking aristocracy, I think everyone knows the family I'm referring to, or families, I should say. Did you see all the purple yesterday?
Yeah, I did see a lot of that. Just going to point out, Chris, on the cover of the Babylonian Woe, did you see the Eiffel Tower there as you held it up?
Oh yeah, the Tower of Babel.
Yeah, that's the Eiffel Tower.
Another pyramid-like structure. Yeah, I mean, listen, you don't have to be Einstein to realise. I'm just showing a picture now. That picture, that ain't right, is it? This is supposed to be a celebration of people coming together for sport, and you've got this character that doesn't even show his face for the whole thing.
It's so sinister, isn't it?
Yeah, I was trying to find the and this is like bringing the children for the sacrifice, Ian. Did you pick up on that vibe?
Yeah. It's just dark, isn't it?
It's just so dark. Yeah.
Trying to, yeah. I mean, you've got the black and white. You've got the Masonic tiles there. You know, the color scheme, the guy's costume. Why is he wearing a mask? Why can't we see his face?
Yeah, So the purple. Sorry, I just wanted to mention that purple was purple and pink was like an overall. We know why they use the pink, because they're pushing their woke agenda onto everyone, aren't they? And I felt sorry for those blokes dancing. It's like they were so desperate to be gay, weren't they? They was just so desperate to be gay. How gay? It's my one and only chance in life. I'm in the Paris opening ceremony. I'm just gonna gay this fucker up. I'm gonna go top gay. But sorry, I'm losing my thread. The what am I saying? The colour purple goes back to Phoenicia, so the Phoenicians, symbolic.
Does it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Phoenicians, Venetians, Merchant of Venice. Again, all roads always sort of seem to lead to Rome, i.e. the moneylenders. And
Yeah, the merchants.
the
Yeah.
merchants, the merchant class who own all the banks and everything else in life. And purple is symbolic of like royalty and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
the upper echelons.
Power. Yeah. It's always had a supernatural element to it as well. I don't know why, but it's always been used as a sort of supernatural color. You know, possibly hinting at the demonic realm. But yeah, there was a lot of purple.
Yes.
Start wearing purple, as the song goes. Go go Bordello.
Susie's just pointing out that pre-war Germany, which wasn't even called Germany, it was the, if I got this right, Susie, it was the Weimar Republic, wasn't it? And it was so debauched there. It was the cesspit of Europe. And people would go to Weimar if they were utter like sadistic perverts, and they would live out all their fantasies with, like, you know, women while the children watched and all this kind of sick stuff. And funny enough, a certain person came along, spotted it all, spotted the culprits behind it, and wrote and put his country back together, didn't he? You know, this is they call it the greatest story never told, don't they? Yes.
So what clips have you got, Chris, on that? Because
Well,
there's the one that really fascinated me was the procession of the horse, like this fucking AI horse.
yeah. So first of all, whenever I'm just going to show my clips in no particular order here. So first of all, we got the Pont Alma. This is not in any way strictly related, but the boat at the beginning with the or the boats went under the Pont Alma bridge, and obviously under the bridge is the tunnel where Diana was sacrificed, and this is the symbol on top of that tunnel. Once again, it's the Illuminati flame, their signature piece, the same flame that it's Apollo, isn't it? The Statue of Liberty is meant to be Apollo.
It's two things. It's Prometheus, which is the fire that Prometheus stole from Zeus and gave to Lucifer, and
Right.
it's also Venus, which references the female cult. And Venus is actually the same archetype as Lucifer. It's just a female aspect. So Lucifer and Venus are considered as the same.
Wow.
So it's the same thing, all of it. Yeah.
And
Blatant,
is
blatant.
that also in Babylonian doc?
Yeah,
Is that ISIS?
It's it's ISIS as well, and it sort of references the Nephilim bloodlines, which we've talked about in length. Cain, the Cain bloodline being the first sort of demonic bloodlines, if you want to call it that, which, you know, go back to the story of Adam and Eve and Lucifer. So it's all in there.
Sorry, I'm just telling people to like and subscribe, please.
Yeah.
Folks.
Please
like
do.
and subscribe. We're a channel like no other. So, in no particular order. So, I just thought I'd mention that because whenever you see that picture of Diana on her honeymoon and the dog is jumping up at her, it's exactly the same picture as the goddess Diana, who always had a hunting hound with her. And Diana and Charles took their honeymoon at the hunting lodge at Balmoral, and it's so that's why I mentioned this picture, friends. Black and red, we don't need any prizes for guessing what the black and the red symbolizes, and also the juxtapose of Lady Gaga in the black and Celine Dion in the white. Did you get that?
I actually missed that bit.
Yeah.
I know I saw Celine Dion, but I missed Lady Geometria at the beginning.
Yeah.
Didn't see her a bit.
So
yeah, Celine Dion. Yeah.
We're talking there the black and the white, the duality.
Yeah.
So splitting people down the middle so you can control them, as opposed to them realizing, no, we're all one. We're one energy. There is no duality. What else did I get? Snoop Dogg. No disrespect to Snoop. I have nothing against this gentleman. I saw him at Glastonbury on the main stage.
Great shot there, Chris. You've got up there. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah,
how can you not get it? You know, if you see that, it's just like, come on.
There's a few things going on. Here. So first of all, at Glastonbury, every other word out of his mouth was mother trucker, right? And you got all these like 3-year-old and 5-year-old kids at Glastonbury right there in the front row, or you know, on their parents' shoulders with their little headphones on, ear protectors on, I should say. And it was like, come on, Mr. Snoop, are you that thick you don't realise who your audience is? And I'm just pointing out that they all work together, don't they? With like that, it's all the Ariana Grande was there milling around at the beginning. Ariana, who did the concert, wasn't it? After the we got to be careful what we say here, Ian. But a certain event in an arena, and she done the benefit concert as they all come together to weave the narrative. So I picked up on that. What I'm trying to say here is it's not really appropriate to have a rap singer who's made his money out of half-naked women and smoking drugs his whole life as part of the Olympic ceremony. I mean, come on. I'm not judging the guy. I've done all that kind of stuff myself. I don't know. Maybe if he'd gone on to... Someone's going to tell me now he's a ambassador for UNICEF or something, in which case I suppose that fits in the narrative, doesn't it? But
beware of charities.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out. Then you got
I'd think he was the perfect man for the job. I don't know what you mean, Chris.
Well, yeah, he's to usher in the Sodom and the Gomorrah. He's on the ball, that boy. He's on the ball. And
crazy.
Refugee team. That isn't really a team, is it? If you leave your country, you then can't then claim to represent. I'm not having a go here, Ian. I'm just pointing out wouldn't it be great if this was done out of the kindness of people's hearts for these refugees, whereas you and I know it's just done to sell the illegal immigration narrative even more than it's already being sold.
And possibly cover up the trafficking at the same time.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. There we go. Just looking at here.
We got the Baal worship. They had to have the golden cow in there, didn't they, in the opening ceremony?
I didn't see that bit.
I don't know in what capacity you cram in a golden cow. There's something else there, but I can't see what it is. I don't know in which capacity. Look, they're telling you, folks, this is Baal worship. For those that don't understand the Old Testament, and if people want to take it literally, Noah had an ark and the animals went onto it. I'm not going to... I'm not arguing with people. That's fine. People, we're all free will, Ian, aren't we? We can believe what we want. I'd say it's more fascinating that Moses, he's leading people from Egypt, which represents lower self, into the promised land of milk and honey, which is serotonin and DMT, which is higher self. That's the whole allegory behind that story. And on the way, they use this story of Jews being enslaved in Egypt. Now, Jew in allegory, it means an awakened one. That's all it means. It's not talking about a tribe of people. It means an awakened one, and a Gentile means someone who's asleep, right? So Moses, in this story, he's leading these people from slavery to freedom, i.e. from lower animal material desire into being in tune with the universe, realizing oneness and universal love, firing off your pituitary and your pineal gland, which reduce serotonin and DMT, i.e. a milk and a honey substance, and bang, you're one of those annoying people that wakes up every day happy in a world where not many people wake up every day that particularly happy, or if they do, they wake up and they want to buy stuff, they want more stuff, they want more at work, they want a bigger car, da 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 da. Now, on that journey, Moses goes for his meditation, so he takes himself off up a mountain where he can be at one with God which is within us, right? I.e., there is only the all. Does his meditation, gets the answers in life, which is what meditation's for. In the calmness of the storm, so to speak, the answers come to him. When he goes back to his Israelites to say, look, don't covet your neighbour's ass, don't look at his wife, don't steal his potatoes, this is good shit, folks. What have they done? They've lost faith in his way of teaching. They don't believe that you can go inside yourself to find God. So they've melted down their jewelry and they've made a golden calf. And Moses is furious. And he takes his staff and he throws it down and it turns into snakes, representative of the Kundalini spirit rising, right? But you got to remember, some people take the Old Testament literally in, don't they? This is why and they continue the Baal worship.
And the golden calf story is first podcast we did on this about the Nephilim. It's related to the Nephilim bloodlines as well. It's the Erev Rav, which were the mixed multitude coming out of Israel, who built this thing. So that's again a self-reference to their own bloodlines. That's why he's in there. I just want to say to everyone watching that we're discussing, if you've just joined in, we're discussing the 33rd Olympic ceremony in a Freemasonic city called Paris. And we're going through some of the symbology around last night's opening ceremony.
And what's the symbology of being the 33rd, mate?
So that's the highest degree of masonry.
Yeah, it's lots of things, isn't it? For the big club, as we call them, that's their signature code, isn't it? They put the 33 on their operations, so it's quite symbolic. You'll always, whenever there's a major event going off on the planet, you'll see on the news the big 33 stuck on an I was going to say ice cream van. I meant a fire truck or a soldier's helmet or something. It's good to have like that artist always used to put a little mouse in his pictures. Most people never saw it, or like the owl on the dollar bill, isn't it?
Wasn't Rolf Harris, was it?
But also, in esoterics, it relates to the number of vertebrae in the spine, doesn't it? More importantly, it's the numbers of the universe. So 3 represents perfection, because it's like binary, isn't it? You've got the 0 and the 1 and the 2. It's making this triangle, or the masculine and the feminine, and then the link between.
Which is also in the Kabbalistic tree of life. It's Bina, which also relates to Saturn, which is an interesting extra little detail.
Yes, and so that's why you've got, say, what's the sign on the Israeli, the star, they call it the Star of David, but it's not. It's way more ancient than that. The two
triangles.
Yeah. And the 2 triangles represent
it's male and female aspects, isn't it?
Yeah, the male and the female, but also the attainment of perfection. So you've got 3, 6, and 9 is said to be the sacred mathematics of which the universe is built. It's little interesting things you learn on this journey, isn't it? Like the 0 number 10 doesn't exist. It's just the numbers 1 to 9. And
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
in this symbol here, you've got the triangle and the triangle. So you've got 3 and 3, and 3 threes are 9. So this is like it's saying this is the attainment of perfection. So that's also symbolic of why they use the 3 and the 3 and the 3. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. I was just trying to remember some other stuff around the star where it originated, but it's not from it's not originating in the Jewish religion. It's way older.
And there's
Again,
there's a lot of stuff in, isn't there, in Paris itself that's kind of occultic. So there,
oh God, yeah,
is it outside the Louvre or the Louvre? They got the big black or the big pyramid.
yeah. That's the Crystal Pyramid there.
And it all
It's a,
kind
it's
of
a it's a wonderful city to walk around if you're into symbology. I mean, London's great, but Paris has got so much stuff in it. Every twist and turn. There's just so much, particularly Masonic symbology. But I suggest, anyone that finds himself there for a weekend, just walk around, just have a good look up, look down, look left, look right. There's so much stuff.
yes, I bet. What else did I get up in my notes, mate? God, I got so much stuff.
Yeah. So the Champs-Élysées, which is one of the big shopping sort of streets where a big part of the ceremony happened, that relates to the Elysian Fields, which is in Greek mythology, which is a sort of place where heroes go in the afterlife. And the I think it was the River Styx was the river that you had to cross by paying the ferryman to enter.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
And so there's and actually Elysium was actually the ruler of Elysium was Kronos, which is in Greek, in Roman is Saturn. It's the same god. So some nice tie-ins there. And I just found the whole thing of the AI horse just absolutely fascinating as it sort of came out of the water and was sort of almost telling that story.
Yes.
That was particularly symbolic for me, and it would seem to go on forever as well. It's like a really long part. And again, with the kind of mask. Well, he wasn't masked, but again, the rider, you couldn't see his face. He looked like the Emperor out of Star Wars. Very sinister.
Yeah, and the other character as well was you couldn't see his face. It sounds kind of funny. Ian, I'll tell you this now, right? I couldn't care less about this nonsense. It's just that I see it and I want to enlighten other people as to what last night was really about, not what probably 99% of the public think it was about. The reason being is the truth will set you free, and there is a big club on the planet, a dark network. They do believe in all this nonsense, even whether you and I might just sort of, look at it and chuckle. They take it very seriously. They're hell bent on bringing around their new world order, and they're dangerous. You've only got to look at the wars that they create and how many millions of people get massacred. You've only got to look at the health narrative that they push that keeps everybody on the planet in the dark, keeps them in fear, keeps them powerless to understand that you are in charge of your life. You are, not Dave down the pub doesn't affect your well-being in any way whatsoever. But there is stuff in the environment that can affect your well. But
Yeah, I mean, people will often say to me, why do you care? Why is it important? And I always say it's in terms of preparedness.
Well, they hurt
Know
my
thy enemy. Yeah,
Ian. They hurt my fucking family.
yeah, yeah.
You know, do you need to say anything more? Is there no one out there that's not been affected by the last 3 years? I challenge you. Or do you think that, Uncle Stan dropping down at 50 of heart attack was on the cards? It's these people are Satanists.
Absolutely.
And this
Absolutely.
And we've got to see it, and we've got to stop buying into their fear. Because imagine the last 3, or it's probably 4 years now. Imagine if everyone just did what we did, Ian. Fucking laugh. Laugh.
But also give counsel to people to advise them as to what not to do, and in the process save some lives. I mean, it's that simple,
Yeah. Turn off the television set. Kind of ironic that we're doing a program on the Olympics, but...
yeah.
Ian, I would never watch that shit. It's only because you called me up and said, let's do a show on it. And I was like, yeah, that would be a good one, wouldn't it? We can have a laugh on that. That I actually waded through it. I fell asleep at the Celine Dion bit. That's way past my bedtime, 9 o'clock. But yeah, it's just that the journey since those events in New York and Washington that time has been amazing. It's brought me everything. Ironically, such a tragic satanic act has brought me to paradise, Ian, and I guess all we can do is share that message for other people that want likewise, and it won't be for everyone, will it?
Absolutely.
I guess it
completely,
won't. It won't be for everyone, but
just having a quick. Sorry, Chris. Just having a quick look in the chat here. There's some really nice comments coming through. Six Blade. He's talking about the water theme ceremony. Fire and water, male and female energies. Really great point there. Kenny, all right, mate. All about Apollo. Just having a quick look. There's some great stuff. Great stuff in the chat, guys. Nice fun.
Yes.
Sorry, just
Six Blade is Steve. Steve, who came on the show the other day. Steve James.
Okay.
I'm right, Steve, aren't I? That is your handle. We had a great chat, me and Steve. Steve was former, British forces, you could say, and he stood up and said no to the nonsense. He's one of the few that did. Dun, dun, dun. Yes, got references. Kenny's bringing in a reference to Apollo. It is funny, they do mix their Babylonian with their Greek, don't they? And that's just... Yes.
Well, the mysteries, the secrets, they're passed from one place to another in time, They all effectively have the same kind of root. So, and I guess as time goes by, there's more symbology to be added, so it's all coming from the same place.
Do we think that horse looks CGI?
Yeah, it was weird. I thought it was like some sort of remote control, robotics going on, but
yeah. Hey ho, right.
And actually looked a bit naff, I thought. It sort of looked a bit crap as well.
It just looks it again, I'm just going to say this again. I don't buy into any of it. I just laugh at it, the only reason I'm exposing the club is that they hurt people that I love, and it's going to stop. That's it. When I seen that horse, it's just laughable. How dumbed down society have been that they think that's appropriate for an Olympics opening ceremony. And B, that it just looks so shit. And C, that there's a club that actually believe that is going to bring around their new world order. Well, I don't know. Ian, listen. Can we go over to locals and
yeah, let's do that. Do 5 minutes because I'm going to get kicked out of my missus' studio in a minute.
Yes, brilliant. friends at home, we're going over to Locals, so you can ask us all your questions over on Locals. There's a link for Locals at the bottom of the screen, or there's one in the comment section below. Could you, before you leave, folks, we got 233 people viewing. Could you please like and subscribe, friends? We're probably the most unsubscribed from channel on YouTube. If you could please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell.
And consider becoming a channel member like myself. It's what, £2 a month? It's nothing. It's a cup of tea in the caff. So
yes, if you could consider this one, folks, support the channel, because it's for a couple. I mean, this is our children's future, and no one's talking about. Not many people are talking about this, and it's really hard to get the message out there, to do the networking, to counteract the negativity and the darkness when you're just one voice, and I'm just one voice. I've got nobody helping me do this, folks. So if you can support the channel, maybe we can build to that day. We can get another person in. I mean, Ian very kindly offers his time. Along with, so does Kenny and a host of other people. But it's $1.99 to join our Patreon or become a YouTube member, or you can support us on Locals. I think it's about £3. There you go. Right. Go out, have an absolutely brilliant rest of the day, rest of the weekend, folks. Massive love to you all. Don't believe in this nonsense and turn off the TV. Cheers.